Hi everyone, welcome back to A Creatively Crafted Life. This is Melanie, and today I have a 2-page 12 by 12 scrapbook layout video for you. This is part of my 2011 vacation to Dominican Republic with a friend of mine, and so over the next little while you'll see different pages here and there as I work my way through my photos. So this was a trip to an all-inclusive resort in the Dominican, and most of my photos are of the resort themselves. We did do a day excursion, so there will be some photos about us going out and seeing a little bit of the local area, I guess. But yeah, most of them will be of the resort. So they're not really action-packed photos, but they are photos that tell a story to me about, where we spent the week and how beautiful it was. So I'm using a bunch of different products in order to complete this album, but for a good chunk of it, I'm using two older lines. One's from Bo Bunny, and the other one I can't quite remember where it's from. If I can find the label, I will include it down below. But they both have kind of the same blue, orange, yellow, green kind of tropical feel to them. And so I think they go pretty well together. So you'll see that I'm using two different pages on this layout with both collections. The first one was Bo Bunny. It was Barefoot, the Barefoot collection, and it was called Bubbles. And the other one, like I said, I don't remember the brand, but the collection is Surf and Swim, and that was the flower page. But these are really old collections, you guys, so the chances of you being able to find these would be very slim. So instead I would look for something similar or something that you like, that kind of color scheme, if you want to replicate these and go with that. So whenever I do a 2-page layout, I have a couple things that I like to do. One is I like to repeat patterns, so like the paper, across both layouts. The other one I like to do is also like a reverse image of the one, not a reverse image, like a mirror image, I guess, of one page onto the other, so that they read similar but yet different. This is one of my go-to layouts when I have quite a few photos, and basically what I do is I lay down a block of one color. Usually it's fairly neutral in its pattern. This one has a damask background or damask pattern on it, but it reads as a solid. And then I usually take some sort of coordinating pattern paper that adds a little bit more contrast and use that as like a border. So here you'll see I'm just trimming this down. For some reason, my paper is not exactly 12 inches. My white paper, that's from Stampin' Up, I believe it's their Whisper White, and it's just shy of 12. And I suspect it's so that it fits into your pocket pages easier, but it's annoying when the papers are not all the same sizes. So the photos I have here on this page are of the main resort and then their main lobby. And the photos were a little dark. I had already printed these, like these are from 7 years ago, right? So I had already printed them a long time ago. I wasn't going to bother to reprint them and edit them to make them better. I just decided to go with it and move on. On the right side are some of the buildings near the entrance. It's what ended up happening is we ended up getting upgraded. So when we booked the all-inclusive resort, this particular resort had, I think, 3 or 4 different levels, and we just booked the cheapest, the basic access to the resort. But we got upgraded to the club level, and so they actually had their own little lobby with their own buffet, and that was restricted, so you had to be a club member, club customer, anyways, in order to access those buildings. So that's what you see on the right hand side are the club lobbies and buffet. And anyway, so yeah, that was nice. We actually ended up spending most of our time at the club pool instead of using some of the other pools. It was just convenient and definitely less busy, which was very nice. And it had all the amenities that we needed, so why not, right? So these here are, they're not stickers. It is like a printed cardstock, but you do have to trim out the die cuts yourself. And this is from that Surf and Swim collection. And I thought, well, I would try and use some of these as layers or as a journaling block. And so that's what you see here, me here, just trying to trim. In the upper left-hand corner, you see a chipboard piece. It says, "We have arrived." This is from, I don't know what collection. I've had it in my stash for a while, and I decided that I was going to use it by hook or by crook, and it doesn't really go, but I decided to use it anyways because it's got gold and brown, and my page is really more blue and oranges. But I figured because the photos are quite dark and have a lot of brown in them that I could just make it work. And I thought, I've been holding on for such a long time. This is the perfect opportunity because this is really the first sights we saw when we arrived at the resort. So why not use them? That sticker that I just put down, that's a really old sticker too. It's one of those dimensional stickers. I think it's from K & Company. That just goes to tell you how old it is. But it's like a checkbox list kind of thing. So I thought I would use that on this page to list a few of the things, about having arrived. Like, we have our swimwear, we have, we have our sunblock and no work, and check everything off. So I don't know about you guys, but whenever I use chipboard, I have a hard time getting it to stick properly. I don't know what is with the adhesive, if it's just not strong enough. So I always add a little bit of glue to the back just to make sure that it stays in place. Because I've had it a few times where I've come back and all the chipboard's sitting in the bottom of the page protector, and that is extremely annoying. Plus, you would hate for it to actually to stick somewhere permanently where you wouldn't want it to. So for me, I try to remember to add a little bit of extra glue, and I do like the Tombow Mono. The Surf and Swim collection also had a sticker sheet, so I just pulled a few things off of there and added them on. Now, I struggle with embellishments. I tend to be on the more simpler side, but in the last year or so, I've been pushing myself to use more embellishments. And so I'm still trying to find that great line between, using them effectively and not just sticking them on for the sake of sticking them on. And so I'm struggling a little bit on this page to figure out what embellishments to put where. And so what I've done instead is I just focused on the stuff that I do know what I want to include. And that's why I glued those items down. And now I am just doing a little bit of journaling. What's the right word? So I started doing the journaling where you just handwrite and then underline it, like Ali Edwards. And my writing's not nearly as neat as hers. And so I kind of have a love-hate relationship with that. I think I would prefer to type my journaling, but I'm mostly too lazy. So we live with my writing, and hopefully it all works out. I very rarely ever pre-write. I just kind of go for it and hope that I get the spacing okay. I've also pulled some of my vacation items from my stash. This is from the Oasis collection, which is a newer collection. It was from last year. Thinking maybe there was some stuff in here that I could utilize on my page. And basically anything that's got orange, yellow, blue in it, I figure is pretty much fair game. So I mentioned earlier that I like to do mirror images of each other. So if you see how I've laid out the two pages, I've got 3 4x6 on the left and then 3 4x6 on the right, and they are mirror of each other. And then I had one 3x4 photo that I wanted to tuck in, and I used that to balance off the journaling block and the title. But another element I like to use is to take some sort of embellishment. an ephemera and span it across both pages. And that's what you see here when I took that banner. I just cut it in half and then applied it at the bottom. That way it reads as one. You'll also notice that I used my ruler quite a bit. So when I do a layout like this where it's very grid-like and pretty simple in its structure, I do like everything to be straight. That's my type A personality kicking in. So I will use my ruler quite a bit just to make sure things are that they are straight, and also that because I want it to read as a one page or as a unit as a whole, I like to have things aligned. Now every now and then it may be off by, you know, 1/8 of an inch or something like that, and I don't stress out about it too much because remember, these are going to go into an album, so they're not really going to be butting up against each other, so it still will be, you know, you won't really notice that it's out by that much. I have some brads also from the Bo Bunny collection, and yes, I do still use brads. I do like them. I think they add a great little touch, and seeing as I have them, I might as well use them. So I've just added a couple, one brad in each of the embellishment clusters, and then also on the end of each of the banner ends. And then I'm just looking through what else I've got. These are other accessories from the Bo Bunny collection, and I decided that none of those were going to work on this page, and I'm just kind of rambling through whatever I've got. Some of this stuff is really old, and I would just really like to use it up. But as you can see, not a whole lot more is going on this page. I do take a few things from the Oasis collection, some of the word stickers or the word phrases, and add those in here and there. I'm tucking a little bit of this craft on that side just to balance out, hopefully, the crafty brown color on the other side. But yeah, mostly just word stickers. I struggle with some of these iconic or icon stickers, you know, like the swan floaty. Like, I don't know if I'd ever use that. So I think what's going to end up happening is as I use stuff from my stash, if I feel like I'm really not going to use the images that are left over, I might just, you know, move those on out of my craft room and either donate them or dispose of them in some manner. So I do want to add some labels to what the various buildings are, and so I have these little white labels. Now the one that I have on the page right now have eyelets in them, but I only have a couple, so those are getting scratched. But I do have a bunch of these other white banners, and they've got little icons on the end. I believe these are from Ali Edwards, maybe like a week in the life kit or something. So I thought, well, let's see what we've got and see if we're able to have enough of these to go across all the various buildings. And we're just going to check and see where we want to place them before we proceed. And so lots of fumbling around and, you know, testing out different locations until we're happy with that. And then we'll just toss those back. Okay, so now we're just going to use, this is a Sharpie pen. We're just going to use that to label the various buildings, and then we'll end up gluing that down with some Tombow Mono. I always struggle too with how to label individual photos, you know, especially when you have like pictures of people and stuff in it. What do you guys do? Do you actually put labels on the photos, or do you just reference in the in your journaling? Let me know in the comment below how you or what you feel is a good approach to identifying what's in the various photos on your layouts, especially if it's things that you want to, you know, particularly remember that may not be obvious from, say, like your journaling. Be curious to see what everybody else does. I heard someone actually say they labeled the back of the page, which I think is fine in some cases, and I've done that for, you know, photos where I have a lot of family members in. But you have to pull that out to actually see. So I'm curious what everybody does. So we're just going to wrap this up here and just about finished. And that should about do it. Anyways, like I said, we're going to have some more videos coming from this album. I hope you enjoyed, and if you've got any vacation photos that you haven't scrapped, you should dig them up and scrap along with me. And until next time, happy crafting.